Hey guys, Broheen here from the Gamers Emporium channel, bringing you a little update to my warrior champion warlord guide. It has changed a little bit. I found some issues with it due to reading about different things and different scenarios on the forums, and so I was looking on the forums for a little bit better build, and I found one. I can't for the life of me remember who the credit goes to, but whoever you are for this build, props to you. It works fairly well. It's not the best, not the best thing out there, but you know, it could be a lot worse. So, well, I've applied my last two masteries. I forgot to do that, but we'll take a look at what the spec is. So we'll throw a link in the description for the Magella for this, so I don't have to waste your time. It did change 32 champion to 44 warlord and 0 paragon. So just follow this and click the link. I'll post a link in the description for it, so that way you can actually see it a little better, because I know that our 720p resolution that we record this in doesn't really do it justice. So we'll talk about the bars and the rotations. So the buffs we want to use: Deadly Posture, Recovery Posture, Way of the River, and Juggernaut's Bearing. And then you have a little bit more utility. You got Battlefield Intimidation. You have a good self heal. It's not really a bad self heal. At least it wasn't from 60 to 65. Mark of Inevitability and No Permission to Die. Those are a must to have. We still have, well, the macros are a little bit different. So let's find it here. So our single target builder is pretty much the same as the other one, a little bit different because we added Arterial Strike and Backhand in. The spec gets a little bit energy starved, so I guess there's energy reserves here, which damaging abilities will have a 33% chance to restore 4 energy. So that's why I chose to use that over anything else, to try and preserve some of the energy use here. And so, I mean, take a look at this macro, copy, paste it, go for it. Your AOE Builder is going to be the main thing that you're dealing with. It's a very simple macro. Everything just kind of goes in order. You have your, instant cast at the end, and we have our procs right in the middle there. And those procs is really what makes the spec a lot energy starved. The macro for the AOE finisher was the same. I did add Wave of Steel at the end, and I'll explain why in just a moment. And then you get more charges. Also on the bar here, we've got Battle Surge and Cornered Beast, as well as Chains of Life. So this spec has a tremendous amount of survivability. It's not the best one, I would say, because I did find another one earlier and built that and had a lot easier time with it. But for your standard AOE, this spec does it well. So pretty much what you want to do is, after you spam your Mighty Blow macro or your AOE macro 3 times, then you want to hit Battle Surge. That'll increase your damage. Then you can use your Cornered Beast, really high damage output. Then you can hit your AOE finisher macro. Now, I said earlier, Wave of Steel is at the end of that macro, because Wave of Steel generates a lot more DPS when it's used after a finisher. So pretty much you tap the AOE finisher once, and the finisher goes off, and then you tap it a second time, and Wave of Steel will go off and do a lot more damage. Now, it won't cast the second finisher in there, because you need attack points in order for a finisher to work. Thus, you have no attack points left after you use the first one, so Wave of Steel casts instead. Now, if you're a button masher, a button spammer, like a little tweak, pretty much it won't really do you much harm, because this is a spec about survivability after all. So if you smash that button and you cast a finisher, then you cast a Wave of Steel, the worst that's going to happen is you're going to cast another 1-point finisher, and then maybe followed by another Wave of Steel, which will also do more damage because it's used after a finisher. So it's kind of a little thing within itself. You could potentially cast that and get the most DPS out of your Wave of Steel, but it's not the most viable. So your Mark of Inevitability, if you cast that, it goes on pretty much everything in sight. So be careful with this, though. It has a huge mile-long radius, so you don't want to pull the entire area, so just be careful where you cast it. Make sure you're aware of your surroundings. Now, if you are ever going to die with the spec, which will happen, You want to use no permission to die. You'll gain 50% of your health back upon hitting that big 0. Chains of Life also on the bar down here, because instead of using your AoE finisher, you can use Chains of Life and it'll gain you back some health as well as do a little bit of damage. So not really too bad. I never used Chains of Life much. I kind of relied on recovery posture, but this spec is very, very, very attack power heavy, so it's not really going to heal you too much unless you have a ton of attack power, which unfortunately I don't have that much. So alright, shall we look at the rotation? So, pretty much, as I said, mark of inevitability things as long as you don't pull the whole room, and then start with your AoE macro. Hit that 3 times. Use your Battle Surge. Go right into Corner Beast. Battle Surge is not on the global cooldown, by the way, so you can use it in between abilities. Now hit your AoE finisher. Hit it again. You'll get that Wave of Steel plus 1 point. Then go back to spam. Every time you do a finisher, hit it a second time to get that Wave of Steel. And like I said, the DPS is not so impressive, but it's also not a spec for DPS. It's a spec that's all about survivability. One more little tip for you: use your Corner Beast when you're pretty much running out of energy. It'll give you a little bit of a period there where you can actually gain some energy back. It doesn't look like we're doing too bad. I mean, we're doing 30k DPS, so I mean it could definitely be a lot better, but again, survivability, and it does enough DPS to hold its own out there. So that's my update to this spec. So make sure you check out that Magello page and grab the new spec, because the soul trees did change, and maybe go out and try and see how many things you can kill with it and let me know how it worked. So, alright, so thanks for watching, guys, and enjoy your night. Thanks.